Before we get into some of the more complex structures of PHP, such as functions and arrays, I want to spend a bit of time setting up site structure. Programming titles often forget that there is a real-world application for all the theory that they teach. Since this title is about real-world programming, I want to take you through an effective way to build and maintain a site structure that utilizes PHP. Before I can get into details, there are two functions that you have to know about. They are the include and require functions. These functions are a very large time saver and will allow you to create large complex websites that are easy to maintain and update. Both functions serve the same purpose. They include a file into a PHP page. That file resides somewhere else in the directory structure for the website. Why would you want to do this? Imagine this scenario. You are building a website for a client. They sign off on a design for a website and you start putting it together. The site consists of over 100 pages of content. You get it all finished and the client says, well, maybe the background color should be a bit more gray. Now you could open 100 pages of code, change the background color, even perhaps fashion a find and replace to do it. It may take anywhere from an hour to several hours to do. Or you can open up one page, change the background color, save it, and have it instantly apply to every page on the website. What do you think is easier and more effective use of your time? This is done with the include and require functions. I'll go into more detail on the functions in coming movies, but for now you need to know how to invoke the include and require functions. Both functions are essentially exactly the same. The difference is only in how they handle failure. If the file reference in an include file is not found, a warning is issued by the interpreter. If a file referenced in a require call is not found, a fatal error is issued and the execution of the script is halted. So if you have a file that has to be on a page, use a require, or else use an include. Personally, I use includes only and have rare need to use the require function. To invoke an include or require, you simply type the function name followed by a round bracket, then in double quotes the path to the file that you're looking to include, followed by a closing round bracket and our semicolon. The path that you're including the file from can be relative from the document root, which is the root directory of your website typically, or it can be a full server path or even a URL. The exact same applies for the require function, only you're substituting the word require for the word include. The included files can be PHP files, HTML files, JavaScript, or anything else. And if you're including a PHP file, you have to remember to treat it as if it were a standalone file. That is, the opening and closing PHP tags must be in that file, just as it would in any other page. Finally, there are two extensions to the include and require functions. They are the include once and the require once functions. They are identical to the include and require, except that they check to see if the files have previously been included in your script. This is especially important when you are creating include files full of functions, because as you will learn, functions can only be defined once. There are cases, especially where you are nesting includes within includes, where you only want a file to be included on a page once. That is the job of the include once and require once. So keep these in mind when you are getting a file included 2 or more times when you only want it included once.